Thank you for choosing to unite. We are delighted to have you collaborate with us and are looking forward to an excellent event this October. In this recording, we'll be walking through step-by-step of the booth setup process. Please keep the booth setup link handy, as you can always use it to update the booth content. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you of three key things. This event is being set up in Eastern Standard Time. Please use a time zone converter when entering information on your availability. 2, that there is one booth login that has been included. Please contact your ambassador if any additional login is required. And should you require the Unite team to set up the booth for you instead, please let us know. We are here to assist. With that said, I now hand it over to Amal. Please take it away.
Hello, hi everyone. This is Amal here from VFairs, and during the course of this training today, we will be covering how you can set up your booth for the Unite 2021 virtual event. So before we get started with the actual setup process, I want to take a step back and show you what a booth actually looks like and the different components of a booth. Now, I'm going to be using a sample event so you can get an idea of how the exhibition hall works and what a booth actually looks like. So over here on your screen, you can see that there is a booth that has been opened up. Now, a booth is going to have certain components. The first one is this basic template over here that you can see. You are able to select what your booth is going to look like in terms of this template over here. You can choose the number of screens you want. You can choose the size of your booth. You can also choose the avatar that is going to be placed on your booth. If you do not want an avatar, similar to how this booth does not have one, you can also make that choice as well. Below a booth, there is a tab for different content links. We refer to this as the Content Links tab. Over here, you can add different items, such as external links. You can also add HTML content pop-ups. You can also put in business cards. There's a whole variety of things you can put over here, and we will be covering all of them during our training today. Attendees will also be able to reserve meetings with you as well. So by clicking on this button, they will be able to book a one-on-one meeting with you according to their availability and your availability. Each booth also has a chat room, so you attendees can also directly enter a chat room with you and your representatives as well. The lower booth, there are 3 sections, one for the description of the booth. You can also add different resources to your booth, such as videos and documents. Attendees can then view these documents and videos, and according to their interest, they can add them to their swag bag or their virtual briefcase, from where they can later email these resources to themselves. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with a booth, and there's a lot of information that you can share with the visitors of the booth. So let's get into it. We'll see how we can set this booth up, and it's actually a very simple and user-friendly process. So step 1 is that you will receive an email from VFairs, which will look something like this. Now, this is a sample email that I have sent myself, so it's missing a lot of the information that the Unite team will be adding for you, including the deadline and any other resources as well. But what I will be focusing on is this booth setup link part over here. But before I do click on that, I do want to mention that if you do not receive this email, or if you cannot find it in your inbox, please do check your spam folder. The email will come from Unite Tech Support, and it will come from info@vfairs.com. If you're still unable to find it, you can reach out to the Unite team, Mahima, and she can help send this form to you. Now, once you have received this email, all you have to do is simply click on this link here, and it's going to open up your booth setup form. You can see that there is some information over here that has been shared with you, so you can peruse that according to your needs. So let's get started with the actual booth setup form. Now, the booth setup form itself is made up of 6 basic steps. And at the end of these 6 steps, you have a complete booth that you have created yourself. So let's get started with these steps. The first one that we have is the basic information. So in the basic information, all you have to do is add the name of your booth, the description of your booth, and then your company logo. Your booth name is already going to be pre-populated. We recommend that you do not change it, but if you do feel that there is incorrect information here or something that needs to be altered, then you can go ahead and edit this as well. Now, your booth description is basically this part, which it's a bit of a text that exists under your booth and under your booth name. Now, you can choose what you want to share with your attendees. This can be information about your organization. This can be information about your chat representatives. It can also be information about a specific thing that you're sharing via your booth. So it is entirely up to you what you want to put here. When attendees visit your booth, this is going to be the first thing that they will see alongside your booth template. So it's very important to be sharing the right information with the attendees in order to gather their engagement and interest. So for right now, I'm just going to copy this part over here, just as a sample text. You can add in your own text, you can copy paste it. There's also a formatting bar over here as well. So if you want to, format your text, maybe make it bold, add an image, add external links, you can use the formatting toolbar at the top to personalize this further. The next thing in the process is basically, so this is the logo for your booth. Now, in all of the graphics that you're going to be uploading to your booth, you do need to make sure that they're in the dimensions that have been provided to you. There are cropping tools that are available on the booth setup form. However, overusing them, for instance, if you have an image that is 1200 pixels and you want to resize it down to 10 pixels, there's going to be a huge loss of resolution on the platform. So it is best that whatever images that you have, you resize them in advance and then you add them to your booth setup form. This will make sure that you have the best quality images being uploaded. Now, to upload your logo, the first step would be to take your logo and make sure that it is within these dimensions that have been provided. The next step is that when you have that file on your computer, all you have to do is simply click on this button here, and then you can choose the image that you want to upload. As I mentioned, there is a cropping tool, so you can make use of that. And once you're done, you will see that the image has uploaded. So that's pretty much it for your step one. Now, before we move on to step two, I do want to mention something, which is the save and continue button. It is very essential that after any changes in any of the steps, you click on the save and continue button before closing out the form or before proceeding to the next step, because otherwise your information is not going to be saved. So as soon as you make any change or as soon as you add any information, make sure you do click on the save and continue button so that your information is not lost. All right, now we're come to step two, which is for your booth's graphics. Now this is a pretty easy step. All you have to do is simply choose what you want your booth to look like. Now in this first carousel view, the way that you should be choosing your booth should be based on the number of screens and the size of the booth. So if you have a lot of content to share with your attendees, you might be inclined to use a larger booth like this one. However, if you have lesser information to share with your attendees, you might choose a smaller booth like this one, which only has a single screen or has 3 screens. So this is entirely up to you. There are a few booths that are available in the portfolio, and you can make your informed choice according to that. Now let's say that we like this booth and want to use this one. All you have to do is simply click on this Use this template button, and it is going to load up the booth for you. Once your booth has been loaded, there is another step as well, which is to choose the avatar for your booth. As you can see, there are different kinds of avatars that are available with each booth, and these choices will differ as per the booth that you have selected. So based on your employee base or based on any other criteria that you might have, you can choose the avatar that suits your company and your booth the best. So let's say I select these avatars. All I have to do is simply click on them and the booth will load up with the avatars that I have selected. Once I am content with my choice of booth and my choice of avatars, I can then start adding different graphics to my booth to further personalize it and to further share content with the attendees. Now, to add graphics to your booth, you can see that there are different screens available. So this booth has 5 screens. And next to each screen, you can see that there are these numbers that have been provided. Now, these numbers are the dimensions of those screens. So it's width by height. So this screen is 296 by 67 pixels, which is width by height. So as I mentioned earlier, it would be best if you resize your images in advance and then upload them to your booth, because that is going to maintain the best integrity of those images. So once you have prepared all of your graphics, you can then start by uploading them. To upload your graphic, all you have to do is simply click on the screen, and it's going to give you an option to upload your banner image. And then you can select the image that you want to upload to your booth. Once you have uploaded that image, and once that image has been loaded, there is going to be a cropping tool that is going to be available. You can make use of that to make sure that your image perfectly fits into the dimensions and into the space. But again, I would suggest do not use this tool as much, but only for small differences. The best way is to have the exact image size uploaded so you don't have to make too much use of this tool. If you do have any small discrepancies in the size, you can also change the background image to further fit in the area. Once you are done with this step, the next thing is to add a banner click action, which is an optional step. Now, what is a banner click action? Basically, if we go back to our sample booth, our screens can have different actions if attendees click on them. So these can link out to different external resources or websites, and attendees, when they click on them, will be redirected over there. So similarly, if you would like to add a banner click, you can put the external URL over here. However, if you don't have any banner click to add, you can simply leave this blank and then you can move on to your next banner, because it is not mandatory for you to add banner clicks to all of your screens. Now, right now, I have added this banner click. So when attendees are going to click on this specific screen, they're going to be redirected to this external URL. Once you're done, you can click on save, and the graphic is going to be automatically uploaded to your booth. Similarly, you have to repeat the steps for all of the other screens, and your booth is going to then be completed in the template section. Another additional thing that you can also do with your booth is change the panel's colors. Now, this option is only available on the larger booths. You will not see it on some of the smaller booths. But if you have a larger booth, in that case, you can also customize your back panel color and your front panel color as well. To do that, simply click on this. You can either add an RGB value, you can also add a hex code, or you can even select a color from the options over here. So once you have selected your color, you will see that your back panel color is going to get updated, and your front panel color can also get updated according to your requirements as well. So according to your local colors, you can further customize your booth to make sure that it matches your brand guidelines. All right, so once you're done with this, we're going to click on Save and Continue, and we're going to move on to step 3 of the booth setup form. Now, in the content link section, you can add different kind of links and resources to your booth. To add a link, simply click on this button over here, and you can choose the link type that you want to add. If you do not have any links to add, you can leave this blank, and in that case, your booth will not have any content links except the auto-populated chat button and the book a meeting button. So in this section, you can add any links that are not the chat button and are not related to booking meetings, because those will get auto-populated for you. So you can add things like resources, your website links, you can add some information about your chat representatives. There's a whole variety of things you can add over here. So the first thing that you have to do is choose the link type. So right now, the first option is for an external link. Now I'm going to go to our sample booth over here just to show you what it actually looks like on the booth view. You can see that there are different names over here for our resources, and they all have a different functionality. The first one is for an external resource. So when I click on About Us, it takes me to an external website where I can learn more about Microsoft. Similarly, if you have any external link, you can put in that information over here, and then you can add your link. So when people click on Windows, it will take them to the specific external link. Another link type that you can also add is one for an HTML content box. So let's say I want to have an HTML content box, which is going to be titled About Us. Now, how will this function? I'm going to switch back to our sample booth. And you can see that when I click on this specific tab here, which is for more resources, it opens an HTML content window, and I can see the content that has been added over there. So if I want to put in any kind of content here, I can simply create an HTML content box, and I can share that information with my attendees. Another kind of link that you can also add is for a business card. Now, what is a business card? We're going to shift back to our sample booth. Now, when attendees are going to be visiting your booth, if they click on this button over here, which is for drop a business card, again, you can title it whatever you want. Attendee information will be shared with you. So something like their name and email address you will receive in your inbox if they choose to share that information with you. Now, when they share your information for the first time, they will receive a confirmation message. And if they click on this button again, they will receive a message that says that you have already received their business card. So we don't want to duplicate emails for you. So there will be two messages that the attendees will receive. The first time they will click it, they will receive a confirmation that their information has been shared with the exhibitors. The second time they click it, they will receive a message which will prompt them that they've already submitted their business card. Now you can set all of this up using your booth setup form. So let's start doing this part. Now, the first thing is you can put in the title for your link. So it can be something like drop a business card or share your information with us. It could be anything that you want it to be. So I'm going to put in over here, drop a business card. Now you have to choose the email that is going to receive the emails of the attendees' information. So when attendees click on this button, which email addresses are those emails being redirected to? So for instance, if I want to receive all of the emails regarding the attendee business cards, I will put in my email address over here. Similarly, it can be your personal email address, it can be your work email address, or it can be a separate folder altogether if you don't want to have too many spam messages from the event. After that, you can choose your confirmation message. So the first time attendees click on this button, what message do they receive by you? This can be something like, thank you for sharing your information with us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. And the second time they click this, what information will they receive from you? This can be something like, we've already received your business card, but thank you for getting in touch. Again, this is content that you get to add yourself, so you can customize this according to your requirements. The next type of link that we can also add is one for the event. So during the live days of the event, there is going to be an active chat button, and when attendees click on that chat button, it will take them to your chat room, where they can engage with you in a public chat, and if need be, you can also convert that into a one-on-one chat with an attendee as well. Attendees will also be able to reserve a chat slot for the live days of the event as well. But another option that you can also provide for the attendees, which is going to be particularly useful during the on-demand period of the event, which is going to run for 30 days after the official last live day on the 21st of October, is you can create a tab for leave a message. So during that on-demand period, if an attendee is visiting your booth and they'd like to get in touch with you, but the chat platform has now become inactive, they can send you an email instead. So by filling out this form over here, they can put in their message and that email will be received by your team. Now, to have this functional, all you have to do is simply put in the title of your link. So that can be leave a message. You can choose the email address on which you want to receive these messages. So again, if it's my booth, I would put in my email address because I want to receive all of the messages coming from the attendees. And then you can choose the subject of the email that you will be receiving from your booth. For instance, coming from the virtual booth for the Unite 2020 event. So that way, anytime that an attendee chooses to leave a message, you will receive an email with this subject line and it will come directly into your inbox. Now, another type of content link that you can also add is for Q&A. I know there's an option here for like us that you can probably see, but I do want to let you know that the like us option is currently not operational. So if you do choose this, it will not reflect on the booth. So we advise you do not use this option for any of your content links. So we're going to select the Q&A option now. Now, how does the Q&A option work? Well, we'll be covering this in a lot more detail during our chat training, which is going to be closer to the event date. But just as a quick overview, there is an option for attendees to engage in a Q&A, which is going to be a public Q&A on your booth level. So there is a chat platform that is separate, but they can also ask some public questions and you can also put in some public answers as well. So if this can function as sort of an FAQ section for your booth. Again, the details of how this will work, how you will be moderating this is going to be held separately on the day of the chat training. But if you would like to give attendees an avenue where they can engage in a public Q&A, which is going to be posted at your booth and viewable by all the other attendees, you can go ahead and choose this option. If you'd like to wait for a chat training to learn more, that is perfectly fine as well. You can choose to have or not have the Q&A after the chat training as well. So simply for the Q&A option, you can just write the title of the link and the Q&A will become operational. Now you can add in as many links as you want. There is no limit for this. You can add 10 external links. You can add 10 HTML content links. You can choose to customize your content link bar as per your requirements. However, we do recommend that you do not add more than 7 links in your content bar. The reason for that is if you add too many links, your booth section is going to become very crowded and then the font size is going to get reduced. So it's going to become very unreadable and an unfriendly user experience for the attendees. So if you can keep it short and concise, that is the best way to go about it. All right, so once we are done with this section, let us save and continue, and we are going to move on to our next step, which is that for the documents and videos section. Now, in the documents and videos section, you can choose different resources and you can add them to your booth. If you do not have documents and videos, you can choose to skip this section as well by simply clicking on the no checkbox. But if you do have documents and videos, in that case, you can simply click on the yes checkbox and proceed to add these resources. Now, the process of adding documents is very simple. The first thing is that please do make sure that your document is in a PDF format. I know the booth setup form mentions a lot of the other formats, such as Excel and Word and PowerPoint. However, these can be problematic and cause severe formatting issues. So to make it as resistance-free as possible, we do strongly recommend that you convert all of your documents to PDF before you start uploading them to your booth. Other formats can be possibly problematic. So once you have your PDF document, all you have to do is click on this button here, and you can upload your PDF document. Once it has been uploaded, you can simply rename your document and you're good to go. If you have more documents, you can click on this Add Another Document button, and you can continue doing this for as many documents as you have. There is no limit to the number of documents and videos that you can add to your booth. So you can literally add as many resources as you would like. The next step is for our videos. Now, unlike the document section in which you can directly upload your resources, your documents to the booth, the videos part does not work the same way. The videos that you have to add have to be in a URL format, and we only support two platforms, YouTube and Vimeo. So if you have a video on your desktop and you want to share it with the attendees, what you will need to do is first upload them to either YouTube or Vimeo, and then add the URL over here. If you have your own YouTube and Vimeo account, the process is very simple. Once you have uploaded your video, you can simply add in the link, you can add in the title of that video, and you're good to go. But in the situation that you do not have a YouTube or Vimeo account, in that case, what you can do is you can use the vFairs Vimeo account that is going to be available for you. Now, how do you use the vFairs Vimeo account? Well, all you have to do is simply visit this URL. So it is 2021.unite-virtual.com, which is the event URL. Once you are at this event URL, all you have to do is write /upload, and it will take you to our vFairs Vimeo upload form. So to repeat the URL, it is the event URL /upload. You can find the event URL in your booth setup form as well. And also in step 6 of the booth setup form, it will also be written for you distinctly as well. So it's very easy to remember. It's simply the event URL /upload. And when you visit this, you will be redirected to the vFairs video upload form for the Unite 2021 event. Now over here, all you have to do is simply upload your video after filling in this information. And this part over here, where it says the video URL is not applicable, it will get uploaded with the valid Vimeo link. So if I go ahead and I choose a video over here, once it has finished uploading, this NA is going to get updated. So as you can see, it got updated, and this is the link for my video. I simply have to copy this link, and then I just have to add it to my booth setup form. So the process is very simple. Again, all you have to remember is just the upload URL. So it's 2021.virtual.com/upload. That is all you have to do. And it will redirect you to our upload form. All right, so once you've added in your videos and documents, you can move on to the next step, which is to add your Bootstrap accounts. Now, according to the Exhibitor package, there is only one booth representative that is included. So you can only add one user to this booth setup form. If you're going to be creating and manning your booth on the live day yourself, you can simply put in your information here. However, if there's going to be someone else from your team who is going to be logging into the event on the live day and chatting with the attendees and manning your booth for those live hours, you can add their information instead. So the purpose of a Bootstrap account is that it gives you access to the event. And with that access, you are able to interact with the attendees. You're able to chat with them. They're able to book meeting slots with you. You're able to have those one-on-one meetings with them. And you're also able to just generally see how your booth is doing as well. So if whoever is going to be responsible for all of these live day activities, you have to add them as a booth representative or as a booth user. So to do that, simply click on this Add User button over here and put in the information for your booth representative. Now, The first name and last name, you can put in your actual first name and last name as well. I mean, that is how you should do it. But there is a naming protocol that we do recommend, and that is to add in your company name before your first name. So if my name is Amul, as my first name, I would add in the Fairs rep Amul. The reason for this is that in the chat platform, when someone is looking for you or when someone wants to get in touch with you, or if they're looking at the online users, it's just easier for attendees to quickly note who is from which booth if you have that information put in your name. So they can easily distinguish you from the rest of the users and they'll be easier for them to reach out to you. So it's not mandatory. However, we do recommend this naming convention to make the process simpler for your attendees. The next thing that you have to do is you have to add in your email address. And once you have added in your email address, you then have to put in your availability to chat. Now, what is the availability to chat? Well, there is going to be a way that attendees can book one-on-one meetings with you based on the availability that you put in over here. So if we go back to our sample booth, you can see that there is this button here for reserve a chat slot. When attendees click on this button, they're able to see during what hours you're available from. And based on these hours, they're able to book a one-on-one meeting with you. Now, you want to populate that information according to your personal availability. So to do that, you should put in the hours that you're going to be available on, the live days over here. The first thing is to put in the start date. So you can choose the date that you want to start your first meeting. So let's say we choose the 20th of October. You can choose the time that you want to start these meetings. You can choose the end date for these meetings, and then you can choose the end time as well. You can also add multiple timings as well. So for instance, if you're only available for a 30-minute slot from 7 to 7:30, and then you'll be back at, let's say 9:30, and then you'll be available till 6, you can also break down your timings according to those breaks as well. You can continue to add multiple time slots as long as there's no overlap between them. All right, so once you have added in your availability to chat, your information, once you click on save, on the email address that you add here, you will receive an email from VFairs to confirm your registration and to create a password. So I'll show you what that looks like. So whoever's email that you put in over here, they will receive an email similar to what you're seeing on your screen right now. Over here, there's going to be this link, which will ask them to confirm the registration and to create their password. It's very important to create your password and to make sure that the email address that you add is correct, because if it is not correct, in that case, your attendees you will not be able to actually log into the event. All right, so over here, the password that you will add in is going to be required for you to log into the event. The next thing is you can also choose to add in your profile picture as well. But there are two other questions that you will be asked to fill out as well. This is going to help us match you with the attendees who have the same interest, and for attendees to reach out to you based on the fields that you have put in over here. So these fields are mandatory, and please be careful when you are filling them out. The first question, which is for who you would like to meet, that refers to the kind of programs the buyer focuses on. So you can choose the options for this. And the next question is which continents are of your interest? And this question refers to the part of the world that they'd like to meet. So you need to select the part of the world that you are able to provide your services in. So once you have selected both of these questions, you can simply click on save and you will be officially registered for the event. All right. Now I want to go back to the booth setup form and I want to give a very clear disclaimer over here, which is that all of these event timings are in Eastern time zone. So please do make sure that you convert your availabilities to the Eastern time zone and then add them to the boot setup form. If you do not add them according to the conversions, then the timings will be all incorrect and attendees will be booking times at incorrect slots with you. So please do make sure that whenever you add in timings or whenever you're referring to timings on the event site, that they're all in the Eastern time zone. All right, so once you're done with this, you can simply click on continue and it will take you to the 6th step of the boot setup form. And this is not as much as a step as it's just a simple review stage. All you have to do here is just review your booth information. You can see the booth that you created. You will be given the URL of the website as well. You will be, you can see the booth user. You can see the information that you added, the documents, the videos. So once you're done with all of this stuff, you can simply click on the Submit Booth button and your booth is going to be submitted. Now, before you submit your booth, if you see that there's something incorrect and you want to make a few changes, you can do that as well. You can go back to, for instance, our documents and video section, and perhaps we can add other information here as well, or remove certain information as well. So you can always go back and edit any of the previous steps as well, as long as you save afterwards. Now, once everything looks good to you, simply click on the Submit Booth button and you will receive a confirmation email, which is going to include a summary of the booth information that you submitted. All right. Now, a common question which comes up a lot is that what happens if you submitted your booth and would like to go back and make a few changes? In that case, that is perfectly all right. All you have to do is go back to the initial email that you received from vFairs, which included the booth setup link. And when you go back to the booth setup link, you will be able to actually access your booth setup form with all of the previous information pre-populated, and you can make your changes and resubmit your booth. Do remember to resubmit your booth, otherwise those changes will not reflect on the event platform. All right. So once you have submitted your booth, you're good to go. Just one last element before we end the training right now is that if you need any kind of technical support during this entire setup process, there are 2 places where you can reach out to us. The first one is you can always email the Unite 2021 team and they can guide you through the process. If you also want to reach out to the vFairs team as well, simply click on this Need Help button and it will redirect you to our support email address. When you email our support email, you will get a response within 24 hours. So we will be able to assist you with any issues that you are having during your booth setup process. So that's all for our training today. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please either reach out to the 2021 Unite virtual team or reach out to vFairs by clicking on the Need Help button in your booth setup form. Thank you very much.